because I feel like it, finally. I told you there are 4 tides a day. 4 tides a day. And the idiots want you to believe there should be no tide. It should be a flat sea that never changes. And all people are equal, all races are equal, all societies are equal, all cultures are equal, all religions are equal, all people are equal. It's nonsense. It's rubbish. You can tell me all dogs are equal, all dogs are the same? How can we understand that not all horses are the same? Some horses are good for pulling a cart, and some are like great stallions made for racing. We can understand that there are horses, there's differences in a horse. Then we know in the world of physical that there are some people who excel over others physically in various sports. It's a given. It's human beings understand that. Why, for example, do Africans always win the long-distance races? It's a product of both biology and training and geography. They train in running at high altitudes in their home country, number one. And over the millennia, they've adapted to running at high altitude. So they're very, very excellent at that. Now, you're not going to tell me that if you can understand that there's a difference between physicality between some humans, even racial differences, you're not going to tell me that racially all people are mentally the same. It's just not true. And this is part and parcel of liberalism, the mental disorder, that no matter how many times they come to understand that some people don't belong in colleges, some people wreck the college, some people ruin the college, some people won't learn, they can't learn, they're impossible, they don't have the brains for it. They'll continue to make you try to believe that all people belong in higher education. Even though the higher education goes down to the level of the gutter, they keep forcing this big lie down upon our head, which is why American society is degenerating. Good, I got that out of my system. I feel better. Now play Tears on My Pillow.
Don't remember me, but I remember you. 'Twas not so long ago.
Teenage nightclub in Great Neck, New York.
Broke my heart in two.
Just came back to me. Oh my God, that phase. That was an incredible phase. Hold it. This is a good story. Let me see if I can remember this story. There was a teen nightclub in Great Neck, New York. I didn't live in Great Neck. That was where people either they had money or faked it and made believe that. But someone opened up a nightclub for teenagers, which was no drinks under 16. So you went there, and it was a nightclub, and you bought soft drinks. And it was unbelievable. It was like a real nightclub, and you danced, and you listened to music. Now, there's a story attached to it that I told once before in my history on radio, and it was about Jane the Nymphomaniac. Does anyone remember that story? The names have been changed to protect the innocent. There was a girl in the group who was a certifiable nymphomaniac, and there was such a category, by the way, until very recently, when the lesbian feminists erased it from the dictionary. But in fact, there is such a thing called a nymphomaniac. And there's an equivalent in the male called satirism, by the way. Not S-A-D-R, but S-A-T-Y-R, satirism, in the male, who is insatiable. But with regard to Jane the Nymphomaniac, the boys took her to Alley Pond Park, and they proceeded to do what boys will do with a girl who is imbalanced in that way. And I felt bad for her. I felt sick for her, because I knew something was wrong with this picture. It was ugly. It was disgusting. And the worst part of the night was when the guys dropped her off at her house somewhere, I don't remember where, in Queens, I don't remember where, but she was disheveled, Jane the Nymphomaniac was. And they didn't throw her out of the car, but they were laughing at her, and they just opened the door, get out, like that, like she was a used tissue paper. And on the lawn waiting for her was her father, who did not yell at her. He stood there with a large trench coat, waiting for her, silently covered her and took her in the house. It was very touching. I'll never forget that image as long as I live. Now, I don't know if a father today could relate in that way. I'm sure there are men who could relate that way. What should he have done, beaten her up? I mean, if that's how she was, if that's how she evolved as a teenager, what is he going to do with her? Send her to a nunnery? There were no nunneries. Put her in a chastity belt? There were no chastity belts. So he did what a father did. He sheltered her the best he could. Maybe she turned out okay. I don't even know. I don't know who she was, where she went. I don't remember her last name. But the imagery is very important to me in that particular story. Now, why I told it to you was only because the song, Tears on My Pillow, because it was big at that time, Little Anthony and the Imperials, when that Jane the Nymphomaniac was an issue, you know, in the group. But that's that. It's neither here nor there. It's just a story from the past. But if you look up, if you try to find nymphomania today, you won't find it. Because the nymphomaniacs took it out of the dictionary. You see what I mean? It's been normalized. It's like normal behavior. Well, look at the behavior today of the girls that they hold up as role models. That's nymphomania. Every minute like a rabbit. Oh, she's with this one, she's with that one, she can't get enough, with a skinny dress, running around. That's held up now as the norm for America. How did that become the norm for American womanhood? A nymphomaniac slut drunk from hell. How did that get elevated to the norm? Because the psychopaths, the perverts, the deviants, took over the media. And they have tried to take their lifestyle and project it onto womanhood and destroy womanhood. Do you understand what I'm saying to you in code? You get the code words? You understand who's behind this? You understand who has debased and degenerated all of America? I'm sure you get the picture.